Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, text number 14. Apannaha samshritim ghoram yatnama bivaso grinan tato sadya bimuccheta yadvibheti swayam bhayam. Apannaha samshritim ghoram yannama vivasho grinan tatah sadyo bimuccheta yadvibheti swayam bhayam. Apannaha samshritim ghoram yannama vivaso grinan tatah sadyo vimuccheta yadvibheti swayam bhayam. The translation of this verse is, living beings who are entangled in the complicated messes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Vasudeva, or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and others were very powerful living entities, were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudeva has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. Everything is related to him, and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy names of Lord Krishna even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental names of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome each one of you for this Karthik month meditation. Today is 9th day. This is 9th day. So we've been thinking about this verse from Bhagavatam, which Parikshit Maharaj heard from Sukadeva Goswami, where he says, Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichchata Bhayam. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma. Very apt question by Parikshit, where he's asking when a person knows that his death is imminent, which is true for all of us. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur. We may not know how much of wealth we will have, how much of material success we will have, who all will be our friends and relatives, but we know for sure we are going to die, though we don't accept or we don't remember. So what should be the duty? What should we do when we know that? That is in particular and in general in all other times. That was a question that he asked, which we saw. And in response to that, Sukadeva Goswami says, Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichata Bhayam. That we should hear, we should chant. Kirtitavya is the second one, which is referring to the chanting the names of the Lord or glorifying the Lord. Glorifying the Lord means hearing His pastimes, which we can do, and it's so relishable, so pleasurable. Or we should chant. And also we should remember Smartavya Chaichata Bhayam. That way we can get free from all the entanglements of the material world. In the same chapter, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Sukadeva Goswami begins to speak, he also mentions about one verse which directly talks about the importance of chanting the holy name, or the power of chanting the holy name. And he says that why one should chant the holy name of the Lord in Kali Yuga especially, and also in general, the power of holy name. There is some echo, isn't it? If it goes up, then I think it's fine. Okay. I'll keep it here.
What happens is your voice is very low. In other lectures, when you hear, low volume, everything comes. But in the classes from here, it's very low.
Yeah, I think you hear, that's it, what people who are hearing from this thing is. So the verse which Sukadeva Goswami says, Etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akuto bhayam yoginam nripanirnitam harer namanukirtan. Etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akuto bhayam yoginam nripanirnitam harer namanukirtanam. This verse is probably the seminal verse if you want to understand the importance of chanting. Harer Nama Anukirtanam. Etan Nirvidyamananam. Nirvidyamananam means those people who are devotees of the Lord, who are free from all material desires. Etan Nirvidyamananam Ichatam. Ichatam refers to all the people who are actually engaged in material activities, have got a lot of unfulfilled material desires. Etan Nirvidyamananam Ichatam Akuto Bhayam Yoginam. And the third was yogi. Yogis who are trying to control their senses. So whether you are a Nirvidyamananam, whether you are Ichatam, or whether you are Yoginam, if you want Akuto Bhayam, if you want to finish fear from your life, then this is not just, Sukadeva Goswami is not telling, O Nripa, O king, this is not my opinion. Nirnitam, this is ascertained, this is concluded by the Vedic scriptures. What is that? Harer Namanukirtanam. Harer Namanukirtanam. Anukirtanam, the word Anukirtanam, Prabhupada explains in the purport, there are two meanings. One is when we are following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, and when we are doing it together. Anukirtanam. Harer Namanukirtanam. Actually, the power of hearing Krishna Katha in the association, extremely, the potency of that, we have no idea. Bhagavatam, in multiple places, it talks about that. But in general, when the word Kirtitavya is mentioned, it is either glorification of the Lord's pastimes, activities, forms, or the names. And especially holy name, which we are going to focus today. One verse that we spoke from Bhagavatam, very, very powerful verse, which says, Apannaha samshritim ghoram yan nama bivaso grinan tatah sadyo bimuccheta Yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Apannaha. Apannaha means being entangled. Apannaha. Actually, if you ask yourselves, or if we ask ourselves, is there anybody who wanted to get entangled? No, means we understand that when some miseries we go through in life, when something very very harsh, very some very typical reversals which comes, the loss of our near or dear ones, something very something which we have invested our hope, our expectations that this will work out and that doesn't work. We feel so bad. On top of that, we get old, we get disrespected, we feel we are made to feel unwanted. We're made to go through this. This is all so terrible. Nobody wanted it. That is why anadi karma phale. Anadi karma phale, from some time immemorial, we are stuck here. Apanna. Apanna, the word Prabhupada is translating as being entangled. Nobody wants to get entangled. Nobody actually, if given a choice, who wants to get entangled here? But we are stuck here, being entangled, right? We are actually helplessly entangled. We don't have a way to get out, So complicated. We don't want, our nature is not like that, the original nature. By nature we are spiritual, and even then we don't really know how we have been punished in this way. That is for millions of years. Millions of years. Rishis, the saints, the sages, the scriptures, they've thought over again and again. And so many empowered living entities have appeared. So many incarnations have appeared. Just to explain this, that we are entangled into these complicated messes. Still, we are not able to come out. Very interestingly, Prabhupada uses the word for samshriti, which he is using here in the hurdle of birth and death. In the last line also that word is used. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. This word struck. Samsritim, we know it is from samsara. But Prabhupada's translation is in the hurdle of birth and death. What is this word hurdle? I was trying to search and see what does this word hurdle mean. And it's not one time. It is hurdle. It's not like one time you get out and then you are out. No, again you are in it. Again you get out, again you are in. Again. And that is a hurdle. In Olympics, at least those of you who follow, there is a 100-meter race, or maybe 200-meter race. There is a 100-meter hurdle, or a 200-meter hurdle race. So the hurdles, like you cross one, there is one more. You go sometime, again one more. You go there, one more. I remember there's a movie that I had seen long time back, many years back. I don't want to mention the name and the actor and actress, but it was so hard-hitting movie. There's one man who, in the hope of making it big in life, moves from village to a city. And he comes there and he has one name, one reference of a person who is going to help him. And when he comes, big city, he's looking here and there, not sure where to go, which direction, confused. And there's a lot of rush. That paper that he had also got lost somewhere. It's just gone. And then he goes to one person for help. That person tells him that, you have to survive. Now you have come from all the way from your village, you have to survive. What you have to do is, there are some pigs, and you have to cross these pigs across the river to the other side. So he agrees, he doesn't have any choice, and he was doing that. So he looks at the river looks, it's like shoreless, he's not able to see, but there is no choice, and he agrees. Imagine you have to cross the pigs, a herd of pigs, they're going here and there and trying to do something. And with a lot of difficulty, this thing, somehow he almost pants, becomes breathless, toils hard, and then he crosses and goes to the next side of the river with all the pigs, and he just falls flat on the ground, only to realize that he has not reached the destination yet. There is one more river that he has to cross. And then he thinks, anyway, I don't have any choice, and he goes and he does that. And then he realizes that is also not the end. There is one more river. And by the time he crosses, with this hope that after he crosses, he'll get some money from that person, he dies. It's the hurdle of birth and death. You somehow, you finish, you think that, okay, jo bhi hai, ye life, I'll go, right? One birth, death, I'll tolerate whatever, old age, disease, I'll die, it's over. No. You're forced to enter. Forced. And if that is not enough, the word that is used here is Ghoram. Apanna samsritim Ghoram. It's very complicated. Soul which is entangled in the body is being influenced by the modes of material nature which are acting in so many different ways. Sattvas plus Rajas plus Tamas, and so many permutation combinations. Each one of us is being influenced by those modes, and we interact with another person who's being influenced by different modes of nature. And there is Bhutanam yan mitah kali, as Kunti Maharani puts it. Bhutanam, and then there's more complication, more entanglement, fighting, disagreement, dissension. Apannaha samsritim ghoram. What you will do when you are in a very desperate situation? You are like, no hope, you are not seeing anything. Sometimes such situations come, not so often, but sometimes it happens. You feel very helpless, powerless. There is nothing that you can do. You're just wondering, what is the way out? But we don't realize, or we don't remember those situations in our lives. If only we remember, nothing else we can do but just call out, Krishna! That's what he's saying. Apannaha samshritim ghora yannama vivaso grunan. Even unconsciously, oh Krishna, oh Lord, please protect me, please help me. I just don't want to be in this situation. Yat nama vivaso grunan. Tata sadyo vimuccheta. The moment you chant, immediately you will get liberated. Tata sadyo vimuccheta. Yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Yad bibheti. Even the fear personified is scared of him. Yad bibheti. And Prabhupada very brilliantly in this purport is putting this, that the Almighty Vasudeva has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. He has empowered his name. It's non-different. Imagine the opportunity of meeting somebody whom you glorify, whom you idolize, whom you think very high of. A rare chance to meet him for an hour or something. And whoever it could be for you, whoever that person is. How nicely, how carefully, how cautious you'll be the time that you're spending. Here the Lord personally appears before us every day for 2 hours. He's there. He's there in his names, and he's appearing. But we do it so mechanically. Actually, anyway, there is this next few days we are going to talk about this. This is one of these things. Actually, how do we understand the power of holy name and change our life? Because of our habit of doing it wrongly, we get used to this. Somehow we want to finish mechanical chanting, mind goes somewhere else, wants to solve problems, you look at WhatsApp, you do something, and then gone. That's how, and the next day we take it. Yat nama bibhuso grunan tata sadyo bimuccheta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. That Lord is appearing in my calling, but I am not paying attention. Here it is mentioned that great asuras like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and others who were very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. Right? Jagat Purush Prabhu has allergy to dust. Right? So much he was having suffering, so much of problem. These asuras, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, they had also allergy. Allergy to holy name. The moment Prahlad utters one word, Vishnu, see the great demon, they can't hear. Right? That's the power. Yad vibheti swayam bhayam. But to understand really the effect of Of course, we all know about the chanting of holy name and nothing new. But there are many finer things which Bhagavatam and this thing mentions, which when we read carefully, we see this. One aspect which I want to touch today. This is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually if there is time, if it allows or permits, we should see the speciality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. The Lord as such is compassionate. We saw in all of us, we went to see that Mahavatar Narsimha, how when Prahlad is asking, Hiranyakashipu is asking, is he there in this pillar? So some Acharya says, if you would have said, even if, is he there in this table? Is he there in this chair? Narsimhadev was ready. You tell anywhere, Prahlad, you say, yes, he's there, you would have manifested. The Lord is ready to manifest. But there is a very uniqueness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, which is not given in any other incarnation. He comes, he tore apart Hiranyakashipu, he finished his Leela and went back. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is very special. One aspect. So of course we all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before he started the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he was actually a very scholar he was Nimai Pandit, right? He was the known scholar of Navadvip. He was expert in logic, Nyaya. He used to defeat many scholars. But when he took up to this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, there is something special I would like to mention, because Prabhupada mentions about this. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing Hare Krishna Kirtan, Sankirtan, along with his associates in Puri. And so this Kirtan was heard by Prataprudra, King Prataprudra. King Prataprudra is a king. He's used to, he's accustomed to hearing varieties of nritya, sangita, dance, and various kinds of music. There was nothing new. But when he heard this loud, uproarious kirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his associates, which is shaking the whole world, they were coming in that Sankirtan, this thing, Prataprudra inside is feeling all his ignorance, the tamas, are getting destroyed. And he's experiencing some kind of ecstasy. Then he's asking Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Hare, I have heard so many kirtan, even we all have heard so many kirtan before coming to Hare Krishna movement. We have heard from, kirtan means you go and you sing some songs. That's what we feel. And in different raga, you go to some temple somewhere, something or other you hear. So this fellow Prataprudra is asking, what is so special? Who are these people? What kind of singing is this? Why am I experiencing this kind of effect inside? So in that, what is his name? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is telling, actually, he's giving the names of this people. All these associates. He's telling this is Swarup Damodar, this is Nityananda Prabhu, this is Advaita Prabhu, and so on and so forth. But he's saying, how many times I'll talk about them? What all I can say? There is one thing which is unique about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. What is that? Kateka kahiva ei dekha yata jana Chaitanya Gana Sabha Chaitanya Jivana. Chaitanya Gana. Actually, they were so bright, so effulgent, and they were chanting. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is describing their names and so on and so forth. And then he says, how much will I talk about all of them, each one of them? Kateka kahiva e dekha yata jana Chaitanya Gana. They are all associates of Chaitanya. The uniqueness about them is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is their life. Chaitanya Jivana. And not some professional. Not this thing which they are doing for this. Some pleasure of something. Chaitanya Jivana. And then, Raja kahe dekhi moro hoila chamatkar, Vaishnavera aiche teja dekhi nahi aar. Raja kahe dekhi moro, when I saw this Vaishnavas, Raja kahe dekhi moro hoila chamatkar. There is some magic that has happened. Vaishnavera aiche teja dekhi nahi aar. The glare, the teja, the effulgence, I have not seen anywhere else. Vaishnavera aicha teja dekhi nahi aar. And then he's saying, Koti Surya sama ujjvala varna, Kabhu nai suni ei madhura kirtana. Koti surya sama sabha. Each one of them is equivalent to Koti Surya. Ujjvala Varna. So effulgent. Kabhu nai suni ei madhura kirtana. I have never heard so melodious kirtan. And then, Aiche prema, aiche nritya, aiche haridhvani. Kaha nahi dekhi, aiche kaha nahi suni. Aiche prema, I am experiencing prema, I am experiencing nritya, aiche haridhvani. Kaha nahi dekhi, I have not seen. Aiche kaha nahi suni. Now this verse which he says, this is Bhattacharya, Sarvam Bhattacharya kahe. Bhattacharya kahe, ei madhura vachan, chaitanyara srishti, ei prema sankirtan. Bhattacharya kahe, ei madhura vachan. So what is happening is, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya is saying, ei madhura vachan, oh this nectarian thing that you are hearing, this is a creation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanyara srishti ei prema sankirtan. If you read the purport of this, I don't know how to do that, but if you read the purport of this, Prabhupada says, I think if I click there, Prabhupada says, what is his name? Prataprudra Maharaj was experiencing this effect of Kirtan because the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were all following very high standards of life, very strict in their sadhana, very strict in following the regulative principles. That is why the holy name that is coming out of their mouth has an impact. Maybe the 96th one. In this purport, you have to read carefully. It is mentioned, this is a so Prabhupada says, initially when he went to the West, the Western country, and he told them that you have to chant 64 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. They were thinking they will help the Swami has come, he has a mission, he's alone, he's an elderly gentleman, he's having that something different inside him which is attracting them. But when the Swami asked them to chant, they were all hesitant. But then when he saw that they are not able to, 8 hours of chanting Hare Krishna mantra is not easy for these people who were addicted to LSDs and things like that. So they said, it's too much. So Prabhupada reduced it to 16 rounds, but no less. And he said, also, in addition to this, you have to follow the 4 regulative principles. Very, very powerful. Actually, Prabhupada never compromised on this. The quality of that comes when we are doing our sadhana. If you are strict with your sadhana, it has an impact. I have never before seen such ecstatic love, nor heard the vibration of the holy name of the Lord chanted in such a way, nor seen such dancing during Sankirtan. Another very interesting thing which you have to pay attention if you go back and search. Actually, the holy names of the Lord is powerful and effective in all the yugas. It's not like in Kali Yuga only it is acting. But the uniqueness of the Lord, this Chaitanya Shrishti, a Prema Sankirtan, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and gives this holy name, there is a difference which is happening. So if you read the Bhagavatam introduction, there is one word which is used which is called Taraka Brahma. Taraka Brahma means it can free us from this complicated mess, the mess of the hurdle of birth and death. We can get freed from that. Holy name has the power, Taraka Brahma. But in one day of Brahma, in that particular Dwapara Yuga, when Krishna comes and he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayasami Masucha, still people don't understand what they need to do. Followed by that Dwapara Yuga, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, in that Kali Yuga, as the most merciful incarnation, the holy name that he is giving, which all of us we are experiencing after millions and millions of birth, Prema Sankirtana. That is no more just Taraka Brahma, it is also Prema Sankirtana. That holy name, he invests Krishna Prema in that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does that. And that is how the most unqualified people like us, because we are born in the Kali Yuga, hopeless. I mean, there cannot be all the Samskritis that you can think of, what needs to be followed, we have no idea, and we are completely oblivious to it. We are blatantly, we violate everything, and yet we feel very proud of ourselves. Those people also become deserving. Those people also, like all of us, we also become recipient of Krishna Prema. A Prema Sankirtan. That is the beauty of Chaitanya's mercy. Actually, in one place, as Prabhupada mentions, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in the mood of Radharani. And that's why his form has become changed. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi is Radharani. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, when he's like a dark monsoon cloud, but when he comes as Chaitanya, he becomes Gauranga, right? He becomes molten gold complexion. There is a place where Prabhupada mentions, actually there is it's a story, but it's a very interesting thing. When there was a feast in Nanda Maharaj's house, and there were many people who were there were people who were coming for taking prasadam, including Radharani. And when Radharani goes there, Krishna was distributing prasadam, and Krishna was not giving prasadam to anyone who doesn't have a container. He was telling, unless you have a container, we will not give you prasadam. You get your container, then you'll get prasadam. So Radharani goes and complains this to Vrishabhanu, her father. Vrishabhanu goes and talks to Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj says, what is this? I didn't know that Krishna is doing like this. Let me go and talk to Krishna. So he goes and asks Krishna, what is this? What's going on? So it's fair enough. Unless you have your container, why will I give you prasadam? Bring your container, I'll give you prasadam. So Nanda Maharaj gets convinced by the logic, and he goes back and says this to Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu goes and tells this to Radharani. Radharani says, no. That's not acceptable. The solution is simple. If the person if he doesn't get prasadam, it's unfortunate. So if the person is coming without container, Krishna should give container and should give prasadam. So this is simple. So they went back. This story is very simple. But what Prabhupada is trying to say is, when Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't see whether you have patra or you have apatra. Whether you are qualified or not, he doesn't see. He distributes this freely, because that's the mood of Radharani. The song that Narottam Das Thakur sings, we sing in Darshanarti, what is that? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaiva Are. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaiva Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaiva Ara. Because you have come here to deliver the fallen souls, all the wretched fallen conditioned souls who can't follow anything, I am the first person. My claim is the first, because I am the most fallen. Your disqualification becomes the biggest qualification in Kali Yuga when Chaitanya, this particular Kali Yuga when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and when we take to this power of Sankirtan. So to conclude the aspect of this which I was talking about, the power of holy name, and especially the power of holy name given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, which can give us Krishna Prem. Taraka Brahma, it will deliver, but it can give us Krishna Prema, a Prema Sankirtan. In Kali Yuga, to follow any other Vedic scriptures, practicing yoga, doing austerity, it's impossible. Prayana alpayusa sabhya kalau asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayoho manda bhagya upadrita. It's impossible. With all kinds of disturbances and things that we have, and the short duration of life, what we will study, what we will understand. Forget about it. That is why yat pada samshraya suta munayah prasamanayah tato sadyo bimuch. What is that? Next line. Yat pada samshraya suta munayah prasamayanah sadyo punanti upasprushta swardhuniya ponusevaya. Your external sins that you have incurred in this body, you go and take bath in Ganges. It cleanses, it purifies you. Yat pada samshraya suta munaya prasamayana tato sadyo punanti upasprishta swardhuniya ponus. It may take many times. Externally, you may take bath. But when you chant the names of the Lord, by the inspiration of a pure devotee. Tata Swardhuni Apanusara. This you may take many, many times. Just by taking the shelter of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, if you chant, you will become purified. And in Bhagavatam it is mentioned that Koba Bhagavatas Tasya Punya Shlokediya Karmanha Suddhi Kamo no Shrunyad Yashah Kali Malapaham. Koba Bhagavatas Tasya Punya Shlokediya Karmanha Suddhi Kamo no Shrunyad. Who is there? Who is that person who is there who will not hear the glories of Krishna? Yasa Kali Malapaham. It can eradicate all the Kalis, the Malas, the impurities of Kali. It can destroy. Who's that thoughtful, intelligent man who's there who will not do this? The translation, who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel, who's not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? So how fortunate we are and how eager we should be. So that is the power. I mean, we are just beginning this Kirtitavya. We'll take one aspect, because ultimately by this discussion or by hearing or by repeatedly meditating, if we become serious in our chanting, when we develop this thing, no, I can't take this lightly. I can't do this mechanically. We'll make tremendous progress. Let's chant this verse before we conclude. You can repeat after me. Apannaha samshritim ghoram yannama bivaso grinan tata sadyo bimuccheta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Apannaha samshritim ghora yannama bivaso grinan tatah sadyo bimuccheta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Apannaha samshritim ghora yannama bivaso grinan tatah sadyo bimuccheta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Radha Damodar ki.